Hello everyone, my name is Jin Yong Sheng and my group members are Rishan and Lisa No. Today I will be talking about the sustainable employee rates to innovation. First, organizations can improve their competitiveness in one of two ways. They either pursue price leadership or build the differentiation strategies in both circumstances. Creativity required. Companies that seek price leadership must establish innovations, high efficiencies procedures to ensure their long-term competitiveness. For them, process optimizations and constant cost improvement are critical. Companies pursuing a differentiation strategies need to be innovative to generate distinct further that set them apart from their competitions. Many setups get their feet wet by creating a unique product or service. As a result, continuous innovation is critical for all businesses. The sustainable employee related to innovation involve the digital transformations of the industry with the integrations and digitalizations processes make up the value chain. Characterized by its adaptability, flexibility, and efficiency that allow to cover customers' needs in the current market. Moreover, an organization that is innovation can retain the valuable employees due to the reason that the companies do not have a proper onboarding process with their new employees. As such, there is bound to be a gap between senior executive and their employees. Senior executive must be aware that they have the potential in bringing the innovative ideas to the table. Furthermore, an innovation workplace can generate win-win situation for both employer and employees. It is because a workplace that is conducive and flexible can allow them to feel less stress about work. They would then be more productive as they are able to work in flexible manner. A positive impact of COVID-19 has been the implementations of flexibility, as the employees are able to work from home. Other than that, innovations workplace also provide a job security for employees. For example, when an organization remains innovative, they stay ahead of competitions. This is especially true in today's world of ever-evolving technologies and artificial intelligence, which AI, which may make employees insecure about their place in an organization. And innovation organization is also able to improve its organization culture and the catalyze for change in us. So, suboptimal workplace culture is to reinvent to make it optimal. Finally, innovation is also able to boost an organization workflow and productivity. It is because switching to automations to eliminate time lost in manual work, such as data entry on paper. By doing this will allow for better availability and performance of employees, who are now able to focus other aspects of their work like customer relations. That is all my part. I shall pass to the next person, which is Rishan, to continue the next. Thank you.
Thank you, Chin. My name is Rishan. I'll be continuing from here. So let's take a look at the supporting studies. According to VIMA, an online innovation platform, innovation can be divided into two groups, which is macro innovation and micro innovation. Macro innovation is required to resolve society's problems. For example, it helps to boost a nation's economic growth. So, for example, if a lot of industries employ innovation to reduce their costs, they'll be able to generate more revenue, which can be reflected in the national output, right? Then you have micro innovation on the other hand, which is innovation within an organization. And it's important for an organization to innovate because if they innovate, they'll be able to reduce their costs, which in turn, when you compare to other businesses that do not innovate, that have redundancies, the businesses that innovate to reduce their costs, they will be able to sustain for a much longer period of time with the same amount of money, therefore making them much more favorable than their non-innovative counterparts. Now let's take a look at the specialist opinion. So we've got Joseph Schumpeter, which is an Austrian economist. He has defined innovation as a creative destruction. This is because based on his definition, he says that capitalism is an ever-evolving, ever-changing market system, and this change is brought about by innovation. But when innovation is present, innovation is going to overrule any existing practice or product that is already available in the market. So this in turn is going to bring negative consequences such as products becoming obsolete, unemployment because businesses have to close down, right? Because if something new and something better comes along down the road, these companies will have to close, which leads to unemployment. An example of creative destruction would be how the first industrial revolution was done with petrol, and that has led to us now being a highly technological society where we prioritize information by way of the internet. Another example would be Henry Ford's assembly line, which helps a lot in the automation industry, but at the cost of forcing a lot of laborers who would do the work manually to go into unemployment. In short, Joseph Schumpeter's definition of innovation as a creative destruction reflects the evolutionary process where innovation and improvements are rewarded, whereas less efficient methods are punished. And now let's take a look at the statistics. So according to the World Bank annual report of 2016, 7 out of 10 households have access to a smartphone, which is even more when compared to those people who do not have sanitization or clean water. This goes to show that technology is really important in today's world, and in order to come out on top as a business, you would have to innovate. Another statistic, according to the Global Innovation 1000, there is a clear difference in both revenue, which is 11%, and EBITDA, which is earnings before income tax, depreciation. Earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation. It goes up by 22% for organizations that have innovation compared to those without. And lastly, according to a McKinsey survey, 80% of executives feel that their current business models are at risk of being disrupted. 84% of them say that innovation is an important step in their growth strategy, and only 4% of these executives have not even considered innovation as a strategic priority. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Sano, and the first thing I'm going to present is our findings. So, in January 2020, the World Economic Forum issued an alert stating that the world is facing a reskilling emergency. By 2030, we will need to rescale over 1 billion individuals. And due to varying disruptors of work, organizations must be willing to innovate and improve in order to survive capitalism's competitive market demand. Such disruptors include technology innovations, demand for new competencies, shifting labor demographics, changes in regulation, and new workforce models. So how do we overcome these disruptors? Learning and development departments have concluded that we need to employ reskilling, upskilling, and outskilling strategies. So what do they mean? Reskilling, the process of learning new skills. Upskilling, the process of taking your skills and knowledge in certain areas to a new level. And outskilling, to retain employees with the skills needed for a competitive market. So, how can we integrate these strategies in our organizations? Firstly, learning as we go. Organizations should actively add tools to help the employees better the skills in their respective fields. For example, firstly, pre-program intelligence that appears in overlay for web-based services. Next, mentor-mentee learning programs. In terms of incident avoidance, decrease time to execute operation and enhance data quality. These examples of learning in the flow of work give a good business case. Next, getting a successful learning transformation off the ground. Organizations should evolve from a focus on automating work to replacing workers and instead to train the workers from the ground up, creating a team of high quality workers from within. This promotes worker loyalty to their employers and reduces the cost of hiring superstars. Moving on, learning culture. Organizations should not value their employees by what they are, but what they could be. Physiologically speaking, the ability and drive to learn something new indicate higher intelligence, which in turn is a better indication of a valuable employee. Learning culture should be a steady force within an organization, because a driven employee that hopes to climb the corporate ladder should be accompanied by a forever learning mindset. How competitive a company is in the market is dictated by how competitive the employees are within the company. That being said, a strong learning culture has many benefits, such as efficiency gains, increased productivity, increased profit, decreased employee turnover as employee satisfaction grows and the loyalty and commitment strengthens, development of leaders at all levels, which helps with succession and planning. In conclusion, innovation is needed in organizations for them to stay ahead of the competitive curve. Without innovation, an organization or company would not survive in this modern era. Therefore, to stay relevant, innovation is a key to it. Finally, moving on to the reflection of our presentation. The research done by this group has shown that sustainable employment is in fact related to innovation. So let's take a look at this from another perspective. Football, for instance, Manchester United versus Arsenal. Manchester United has hundreds of millions in their budget that allows them to trade for superstar players, and in contrast, Arsenal only has a fraction of that budget. So how does both of these teams compete in the same league? As stated, MU buys the best of the best, players who have already proven themselves many times. Manchester United simply combines great players to make a great team. However, Arsenal does not have the resources to copy that. Instead, they innovate by opting to train by reskilling and upskilling the employees, in this case the football players, to form a cohesive team that plays well together and is even good enough to rival that of an all-star team. So we as a group now argue that organizations would adopt Arsenal-like mentality. That will be all from us. Thank you.